Hello, and welcome. My name is Michelle. I am your emotional resilience coach, and it is fantastic to have you join me here today. If you are sick and tired of being sick and tired, if you are done with feeling like you are a victim in your life, if you are done with being at the effect of everything in your life, you are in the right place. A couple of years ago, I got to a point of absolute burnout. I had IBS, I had migraines, I was sleeping all the time. No amount of sleep was making me feel refreshed. I was at my wits' end. I was emotional. I was teary. I was overly sensitive to everything and everyone in my life. And I was just in a really, really bad place, which was not a bad thing because it set me on a journey to find how to take my power back. And I am excited to do that. And I'm absolutely passionate to teach people how to do that as well. I have taken years and years of research and study, and I have tried to condense it into small little bite sizes here on YouTube for you. Do stay tuned and watch the space because a book is coming too, which I am super, super excited about. So if this feels like it is something that resonates with you, if you're wanting to take your power back, please do hit like, subscribe, the notification button, and of course, share. Today, I just want to share a brief story with my fellow CPTSD survivors. So, something that happened to me recently is I had a flashback, and in this flashback, I was traumatized. I had a bit of a wobble. And you need to bear in mind, this is something that I have been doing for years now. And so I was a little bit surprised about why this wobble was happening. I thought, well, what is it that's going on here? Like, I have all the tools, I know all the resources. Why is this happening? And sometimes it just does. It's kind of like just peeling that layer from an onion. We're just going to go deeper now into another layer. And we're going to keep going down and keep going down. And sometimes we're going to have flashbacks, and sometimes we're going to have wobbles, and sometimes we're going to feel triggered, and things are going to come up for us, and we're going to go, what is happening here with me? We're just going through a deeper layer. It is actually a good thing. Though in the time it can feel frightening, it can feel confusing, it can feel scary. What happened to me was I was experiencing emotions, and I was saying, okay, I'm just going to lean into it. I've got the tools. I know what to do. I'm going to just sit with it, and I'm going to lean into it, and I'm going to allow it. And something very, very interesting happened for me. And that is, I wasn't entirely aware of what was going on. I could not put the words to what I was experiencing. It was so intense, and I smile about it now, but in the moment, the intensity was so severe, I thought I was dying. I remember sitting with my husband and saying to him, it feels like death. And the interesting thing is that having gone through abuse, having been subjected to trauma, as children, we don't have the tools. Children don't know how to process what they're going through. Adults often don't know how to process what they're going through. So it's incredibly complicated and difficult for a child to work out and figure out what is actually happening, why it's happening, what is it about them that is bringing this on, why are they experiencing this in their lives. It can be really, really traumatic. And I was having these sensations. I was sitting and leaning into my emotion, and I was having these sensations, and I realized I did not have the vocabulary for what it was that I was experiencing. I didn't know what it was. It felt like death. It felt like I was actually dying. And it was scary, but I know the tools, and so I'm sitting with it. I'm going, okay, this is what I'm feeling, and I'm going to sit with it, and I'm going to lean into it. This is better than me falling back into dissociation, though that was very tempting at times. This is better than me numbing it, because it's just not going to go away. It's going to keep coming up until I have sat with it and I have dealt with it. And I did. I braced myself, and I went through about 3 days of this, and I thought, okay, I can do this. This is intense, but I can do this. And I must be honest with you, some moments were so overwhelming. I was in tears, and I was in prayer, and I was pleading for release from what it was I was experiencing. Come day 4, I was sitting with my husband, and I was trying to explain to him what was happening, what was going on, what I was experiencing over the last couple of days. I was trying to make sense of it myself. And I said to him, it's the most intense stabbing feeling in my chest, right in the center. It feels like hundreds of knives are just being stabbed in my chest consistently and in the center of my back consistently. I at times battle to breathe. The pain is so intense. It's this burning, deep pain. And sometimes it feels like a sharp pain, but it was consistently here, where sometimes it would take my breath away and I couldn't breathe, and I would just sit and cry, and I would lean into it, and I wasn't sure what it was that I was experiencing. And when I was explaining this to my husband, he looked at me and he nodded his head and he said, "It sounds like you are in mourning." And this resonated with me. This hit me. And I thought, isn't that funny? I have been grieving. I've grieved different things my whole life, as we all have. And I've been grieving parts of my childhood, as I said, layer by layer. But now I had just reached a deeper layer where it felt so visceral, so intense, so traumatic, just feeling it, just experiencing it. And he said to me, "This is what I think it is." And I nodded and I listened to him and I thought about it and I sat with that for a while and I thought, he's 100% right. That's exactly what it is that I'm going through. I am going through mourning, but on a level, to an intensity I had not experienced before. And so, if you are sitting with your emotions, if you are trying to do this, if you are practicing, if you are trying to apply these tools, and you are trying to push through, and you do not have the words to describe what you are going through, you are not alone. It is okay. Focus purely on the sensations. What are the sensations that you are feeling? Write them down. Rate the intensity on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being, I feel like I'm going to die, which is what I was feeling, or 1 is a slight ripple, right? It's a bit uncomfortable, but I'm okay, I'm managing. And then find someone that you trust. Find somebody that you can love and you can feel safe with and you can be with and who can hold space for you and allow you to hold space for yourself, and explain, describe to them what the sensations are that you are going through, and allow that space for conversation. Often what happens is that as people, we are connected, all right? We understand, we go through similar things, we are not alone, we know what people are going through. Allow them to sit with you and be with you, allow them to hear what you're describing, and let's listen to what they have to say. And then you get to decide, does this resonate for me or not? Does this feel like, in my case, mourning? And for me, what was such an eye opener was that for me, grief up until now had felt heavy, and it had felt like it was sitting in the pit of my stomach, and it made me feel nauseous. It is different, it is more intense, it is not what I'm used to. We are moving now deeper, we're pulling away the layers, and we're going through something more intense. What I am feeling is mourning, a deep mourning, something new, something different. Nothing has gone wrong. My CPTSD survivors, fellow warriors, it's just a new layer. And the only way to get through it is to gently relax into it, allow it, and identify it. Once I've been able to identify it, it hasn't been quite as overwhelming. I've done a video before on we name it to tame it, and it really has been true for me. By being able to identify with it and saying this is mourning has alleviated it for me tremendously. I hope this helps. Let me know. Let me know in the comments. Let me know what sensations you're going through. Chat to somebody. Find someone that you can connect with. And let's figure out, as CPTSD survivors, what it is that we are feeling. There is nothing wrong with you. You haven't done anything wrong. You are living life. You are being a human being. You're getting through it. And what is happening is you are going through new experiences. You are figuring this out for yourself for the first time. You're not going crazy. Hopefully you realize, like I did, you're not dying. You're just in a new layer. As CPTSD survivors, we are not experienced at feeling our emotions. We are not experienced at pushing through them. We're not experienced at leaning into them. We're not experienced at sitting with them. So be gentle with yourself, be kind with yourself, and realize that the destination is not as important as the process. The lesson is in the experience. Be open to it and allow it. If this resonates with you, please do hit like, subscribe, the notifications button. And as always, I love to hear from you. Have a most fantastic day.